Monday. All right, it's time for the winners and losers segment right here as a part of the Monday, Victory Monday. I got to remind everyone out there, I didn't do this at the top of the show, the Victory Monday, make sure today, Monday morning, you're paying attention to the Steel Curtain Network Twitter handle. That is at Steel C Network. Steel C Network. I will post all the details of what you have to do to get yourself entered into a free giveaway. We're giving away free Steel Curtain Network swag. During the bye week, I'm going to be working up some new logos and do all that stuff. Make sure you check it out. But want to get into that giveaway, that's what you got to do this Victory Monday. All right, we have a lot of winners and not a lot of losers. When you're talking about winners and losers, we have 11 winners and 4 losers. Let's start off with DK Metcalf as our winner. First winner, 5 catches, 126 yards, a 25.2 average, a 1 touchdown, an 80-yard long, and 5 targets. DK Metcalf is a monster. We know that he's a monster. DK Metcalf was everything that you wanted him to be when he came to the Steelers. The catch and run ability, the 80-yard catch and run was a thing of beauty. But I'll tell you what, when I look back on this, the one thing that I think about the most when I'm looking at the box score is that he was targeted 5 times and he had 5 catches. That's been the knock on DK Metcalf, and we've seen it so far this season at times where he can drop passes. He did not drop the passes this week. Phenomenal job by him. Kudos to DK Metcalf. He's on the winners list. Let's go to the next winner, Keanu Benton. 4 tackles, 1 solo, 1.5 sacks, 3 quarterback hits, and a tackle for loss. There are certain players that, for whatever reason, they become a punching bag for the Steelers fan base. Keanu Benton has become one of those people. And I understand there's been a regression since his rookie year. Everyone had really high hopes for him after his rookie campaign, and he hasn't gotten better to the point where we thought he would be. But what we saw today was at least a big step in the right direction. Now, Dave Schofield even pointed out in the post-game show how Keanu Benton was going against like a backup center, backup guard. Then he did what he was supposed to do. He was disruptive against those players. And maybe this is a confidence boost. Players like Keanu Benton probably know what are being said about them. If they're on social media, they see it, they feel it, they hear it. Sometimes you need a little, hey, you're doing a good job, man, keep it up. That was today for Keanu Benton, or I should say yesterday, considering this runs on Monday. That was Keanu Benton's day, so good for him. He's on the winners list. Let's go to the next winner, and we are talking about TJ Watt. Listen to this stat line: 5 tackles, 3 solo, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, 2 quarterback hits, 1 pass defense, and oh yeah, that was an interception. It was another TJ Watt game. It was one of those games where you're like, man, TJ Watt, I feel like he's just doing everything right now. And he was doing everything right now. And there were times where TJ Watt is getting swallowed up, and that's when Nick Herbig was doing damage and Keanu Benton was doing damage. Hey, I'm going to be honest with you, TJ Watt, his stat lines are going to look different. The ebbs and flows of the game are going to look different at this stage in his life, at this stage in his career, and it's going to be up to other people to finally start winning. And we're starting to see that. We're starting to see Derek Harmon putting pressure on quarterbacks. We're starting to see, in this game, Benton, as I mentioned, Nick Herbig starting to put pressure on quarterbacks. They need some other people to step up. But TJ Watt in this game with that interception, my gosh, how many interceptions has this guy had at the line of scrimmage in his career? Remarkable stuff. He is a winner. Let's go to our next winner, Patrick Queen. He had 11 tackles, 8 solo, 1 sack, 3 tackles for loss, and 1 quarterback hit. Patrick Queen was, in my opinion, that was the best game I've seen him play since he put on the black and gold. Since they got him in free agency last offseason, he was dominant. You noticed him. And it's crazy how, the Steelers inside linebackers, whether you're talking about Peyton Wilson, Cole Holcomb even, Patrick Queen, if the defensive front can keep these linemen off of them, they're good. And they're going to make plays. But when you have these big linemen climbing to that level, and they're just going to engulf these linebackers. It's just the way that it is. In this game, the linemen did their job. Patrick Queen did his job. He had a fantastic football game, really making his presence felt early and was consistent. Good to see Patrick Queen is on the winners list. Let's go to the next winner, the pass rush. In totality, the Steelers had 6 sacks and 14 quarterback hits. That's right. You heard it correctly. 14 quarterback hits. They were abusing Carson Wentz. Every time he dropped back, if he got rid of the ball, someone was hitting him right after he let it go. If he had time, he was getting popped, and obviously 6 sacks, they got to him a lot. The Steelers, again, against a subpar offensive line. Remind you of what we talked about on the keys to victory on Friday, that coming into this game, the Vikings had surrendered tied for second most sacks this season at 12. They add 6 more to that. This offensive line is struggling. And if J.J. McCarthy was the quarterback, it would have been worse. Yes, that's right. I said that. But good kudos. And this is, I'm going to put Nick Herbig, give him a big shout out. He had a great game. He doesn't get the solo winners treatment, but he gets lumped into this group for sure. Let's go to our next winner, Deshaun Elliott. He had 6 tackles, 4 solo, 1 interception, 1 sack, 2 quarterback hits, a tackle for loss, and 2 pass defense. He had, in his first game back, I don't think he was on a pitch count. I don't think that Mike Tomlin was limiting him in terms of what he was doing. We won't hear from Tomlin on Tuesday, so we won't know. It'll have to wait until prior to week 6. But Deshaun Elliott coming back was a huge boost for the secondary. He gets his hands on the football with the interception. He comes up with the game-sealing pass defense. Welcome back to Deshaun Elliott. You've been missed. And when he was there, Juan Thornhill was freed up to make plays. Clark was there to make plays. I didn't see a lot of Jabril Peppers, but when he's in the lineup, Deshaun Elliott that is, you don't need Jabril Peppers as much. All right, let's go to our next winner. Our next winner is Kenneth Gainwell. His stat line is long. It's like a Jalen Warren type stat line. 19 carries for 99 yards, 1 yard shy of 100. 5.2 yard average. 2 touchdowns and a 15-yard long. On receiving end, 6 catches, 35 yards, a 5.8 average, 8-yard long, and 6 targets. Again, I'm going to go back to what I said at the top of the show. When I saw that Jalen Warren wasn't playing, I was not excited. We'll put it that way. I was kind of nervous. And I was sitting there, I was like, oh man, what are they going to do? It's going to be, Caleb Johnson's going to have a great opportunity. And I thought he acclimated himself well. But I was like, is Kenneth Gainwell going to be able to carry the load? He carried the load. He had a Jalen Warren type game. It is good to see him there. They can share that load, I feel. They're both good at blitz pickup. They're both good out of the backfield. They both run well inside and outside. I like the Steelers in terms of what Kenneth Gainwell can do along with what Jalen Warren does. Kenneth Gainwell's a winner. All right, let's go to the next winner, Peyton Wilson. 13 tackles. 8 of those were solo. 2 tackles for loss. 1 quarterback hit, and maybe, just maybe, the greatest hustle play that I can remember in modern history, second only to DK Metcalf on Budda Baker on Sunday Night Football. I don't even know what year it was when he tracked him down. That's the only similarity I have in terms of hustle plays. That was incredible. So Peyton Wilson, in case you forget, there's a blown coverage. Jordan Addison is just off to the races. And how many times have we seen throughout NFL history, defensive backs just completely give up? They don't care anymore. He's going to score. He's gone. There he goes. And Peyton Wilson, an inside linebacker, ESPN's Next Gen Stats tracked Peyton Wilson's speed as he tracked down the ball carrier at 22 miles per hour. Folks, this was in the 4th quarter. And he is tracking down a wide receiver. That is astonishing. And what's crazy is I'm spending all this time talking about Peyton Wilson's one play. His stat line was good otherwise. He had a fantastic game. And again, he is a lighter guy. He is someone that ultimately needs to be kept clean. The Steelers did that. What a game. What a performance. What a play from Peyton Wilson. Deserves to be on the winners list. I got crap. I put him on the winners list a couple weeks ago. Now, he played like crap. No one's probably doubting me this time. All right, let's go to the next winner, the offensive line. They only give up 2 sacks. They give up 3 quarterback hits, and they also have 131 yards rushing. So I've talked about this on Friday, and I'll say it again here, that all we as Steeler fans should be hoping for is the Steelers improving. That's it. Just constantly getting better. Little by little, bit by bit, brick by brick, whatever you want to say, just constantly getting better. Whether it's a baby step or whether it's a big leap forward, constant improvement is where the Steelers should be right now at this stage of the season. And we've seen it. We have seen it. Week 2 against Seattle, Aaron Rodgers is getting beat to hell. And then what do we see week 3? They don't give up any sacks, but they don't really look great. They don't really look like they had it, but it was still a step forward. This was, in my opinion, a big step forward. I'm not going to say it was a leap. I'm not going to say it was a giant step, but it was a big step forward. It's a confidence boost. I still want to see those brain fart plays like the first play from scrimmage where Isaac Seumalo and Zach Frazier are clearly not on the same page, and they allow a pass rusher to go right in between them, right up the gut and sack the quarterback. Not a good way to start the game, we'll put it that way. But the offensive line, I think, deserves some credit. I think they deserve to be on the winners list this week. All right, next, let's go to the next winner. That is the run defense. The Steelers' run defense, the much beleaguered run defense, holds Minnesota to 20 carries, 70 yards, a 3.5-yard average, no touchdowns, and a long run of 11 yards. This is a really, really good run defense in terms of they needed like a get-right game. This is what you needed. I hate to say that, but sometimes you don't know it's a get-right game until after the game. This is what they needed to do. You knew they were going to have a situation where, my gosh, like they were going to have to try and stop and the run and make them one-dimensional, make the Vikings throw the football. It's exactly what they did. It was great to see Cam Hayward, Keanu Benton, talked about the linebackers. They got a lot of attention here in the Winners and Losers podcast. It was great to see. They needed this get-right game. Minnesota Vikings provided it. The run defense is on the winner list. And let's go to the last one, the third down defense. They hold Minnesota to 4 for 17. Do I need to remind you, heading into this game, after 3 weeks, the Steelers had tied for the 28th worst third down defense in the league, and that's also not even attaching the yards to gain that they're surrendering on third down. They were giving up a ton of third and long conversions going back to week 1 against the Jets, Seattle in week 2, and even in week 3 against New England. It was literally just every week, not this week. The 46.3% that they had been holding, 46.3% they've been allowing conversions, not today. That's going to improve. That's going to go down. That's what you want to see. That's going to be a big part of this defense moving forward. So there you have 11 winners. But now we got to go to the loser side of the docket. There's 4. Let's start off with the end of the game coaching. Now, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to pinpoint like, oh, Mike Tomlin, he's the problem. Okay, this goes beyond just Mike Tomlin's game management questions that everyone has. The end of the game coaching, one thing I had an issue with. I was okay with them going for the touchdown from the 3. I didn't like the play call, running it up the gut. I feel like you need to give the offense and give Aaron Rodgers, your quarterback, more options than just handing the ball off. I didn't like the play call, but I liked the decision. I was okay with them not going for it. And that's Greg Olsen. I like Greg Olsen, but my gosh, dude. I like the fact that they didn't go for it and they just took time off the clock, took a delay game penalty, and put Corliss Waitman out there. No problem with that decision. But I didn't like, and you knew this is a Mike Tomlin thing, telling Danny Smith to make sure you tell Waitman to just punt it out of the end zone. I don't like that at all. No, that's where you want a sky one that hits at the 10. And maybe it goes in the end zone, but at least give your guys a chance to get down there and maybe pin them deep. Go for the coffin corner like Dave Schofield suggested in the postgame show. Do something, but don't punt it out of the end zone. If you get a return, which I doubt you would anyways, maybe you take some time off the clock. I didn't like that decision. But I was okay with the ultimate decisions. I didn't like the execution of what came after. I was okay with them going for the touchdown. I didn't like the play call from the 3. I was okay with them punting. But at the same time, that 4th and 1, let me say this. If you have a tush push, which we didn't even see the tush push play that the Steelers ran earlier in the game because, I don't know, NFL Network didn't show it. Connor Hayward got that ball, and they pushed him forward. If you have that play in your arsenal, then and you like it, you're confident, run it again and get the first down. I think the Steelers need to kind of figure out an identity. Like what are they trying to do? What kind of team are they trying to be? You know the Detroit Lions identity. They're aggressive. There's never a question. Sometimes I feel like Mike Tomlin just kind of teeters on it. And because a team that is aggressive with about 12 minutes remaining and a 24-6 lead, you might not be super like I'm chucking it deep, but you're not going into a shell. That's exactly what the Steelers did. They just kind of like turtled up in their shell. Like, I'm in my shell. I don't want to make a mistake, all this stuff. So for me, I think the end of the game management, but not to the point that you all might think I am talking about. I'm okay with some of it, not all of it. All right, the injuries. Got to throw the injuries into the loser list because it's an ongoing storyline every single week. The injuries, Calvin Austin III with the shoulder, Jalen Ramsey with the hamstring, Brandon Echols was cramping up, Darius Slay got cleated, Jalen Warren's knee. It's going to be tough. It's going to be really, really tough for this team to hopefully get everyone back. That is the biggest thing. Get everyone back. It's going to be huge. And so getting Alex Highsmith back, getting Joey Porter Jr. back, hoping that Jalen Ramsey is able to heal up after all of this week and next week and get back to work. That's going to be massive for this defense. All right, we have 2 more losers here. Let's go through those. Third down offense, 4 for 10. 4 for 10. Now, believe it or not, the Steelers' third down offense had been converting 38.2% of third down conversions, which was 20th in the league heading into week 4. Well, you got 40%. That's better, but it's just not good enough. I want to see some better conversions. I want to see something happen in there. And so it's a situation for me. I want to see improved third down offense. And then the very last loser here, want to get this out of the way. The red zone offense, unfortunately, goes 2 for 5. And again, I'm going to go back to the stats here. The statistics that the Steelers' red zone offense was the second best red zone offense in the NFL at 87.5% converting into touchdowns. Unfortunately, that's not going to hold up after a 2 for 5 performance. But ultimately, a lot of times in games, it changes. Everything kind of changes. So, I felt like I was nitpicking on the losers, if I'm being honest. I felt like I was nitpicking. But there you have it, folks. 11 winners, 4 losers after the Steelers' 24-21 win over the Minnesota Vikings in Dublin, Ireland. I want to remind everyone, it's the bye week. And that's winning into the bye week is just massive. It is for someone that, I run a website, we're running a podcast network. Losing going into the bye week is like a swift kick to the nuts, because what happens is people are pissed about the loss. They don't want to hear it for 2 weeks, and they just shut it off until the Steelers come back. But when they win, people are still engaged. They want to hear about this talk. They want to see what the Ravens do and all this stuff. The Steelers are 3-1, and we should be happy about being 3-1. The Steelers being 3-1 is awesome. Kudos to the Steelers, the coaching staff, the fan base, all of it. They are going to come back in week 6. And they're going to have the Cleveland Browns coming off of their trip to London. They do not get a bye week after that. That should be a fun game at home. But we're not going anywhere, folks. Steel Curtain Network podcasts are not going to stop. The only thing that's going to be off is no post-game show. We're going to have every other podcast is still going to be live. We're going to have all the articles for you at steelcurtainnetwork.com, completely free, mind you. So make sure you check out steelcurtainnetwork.com early and often every single day for at least 3 new articles every day. And there's normally more than 5. Check us out, steelcurtainnetwork.com. I thank each and every one of you for checking us out. But we finish these out. Be safe, be kind, and God bless. We'll see you on Wednesday. Go Steelers.